Hello friends. Today video is about all American vice president with their tenure spent in office. Let's subscribe our channel to continue. First up, we have John Adams, the first vice president, serving from 1789 to 1797. Next is Thomas Jefferson, the second vice president, serving from 1797 to 1801. Following Jefferson, Aaron Burr held office from 1801 to 1805. George Clinton served from 1805 until 1812, contributing significantly during his term. Elbridge Gerry took office from 1813 until 1814. From 1817 to 1825, we had Daniel D. Tompkins, supporting President Monroe. John C. Calhoun served from 1825 to 1832. Next, Martin Van Buren served from 1833 to 1837, later becoming president. Richard Mentor Johnson held the position from 1837 to 1841. John Tyler briefly served in mid of 1841. George M. Dallas was vice president from 1845 to 1849. Millard Fillmore served from 1849 to 1850. William R. King held office from 1853 until his death later that year. John C. Breckinridge served from 1857 to 1861, during a turbulent time. Hannibal Hamlin was vice president from 1861 to 1865, supporting Lincoln. Andrew Johnson took office briefly in 1865. Schuyler Colfax served from 1869 to 1873. Henry Wilson held office from 1873 to 1875. William A. Wheeler served from 1877 to 1881. Chester A. Arthur held the role briefly in 1881. Thomas A. Hendricks served from 1885 until his death later that year. Levi P. Morton was vice president from 1889 to 1893. Adlai Stevenson I took office from 1893 to 1897. Garrett Hobart served from 1897 to 1899. Theodore Roosevelt briefly held the role in 1901. Charles W. Fairbanks served from 1905 to 1909. James S. Sherman held office from 1909 to 1912. Thomas R. Marshall served from 1913 to 1921. Calvin Coolidge was vice president from 1921 to 1923. Charles G. Dawes served from 1925 to 1929. Charles Curtis held office from 1929 to 1933. John Nance Garner took office from 1933 to 1941. Henry A. Wallace served from 1941 to 1945. Harry S. Truman held the position in 1945. Alban W. Barkley served from 1949 to 1953. Richard Nixon held office from 1953 to 1961. Lyndon B. Johnson served from 1961 to 1963. Hubert Humphrey took office from 1965 to 1969. Spiro Agnew served from 1969 to 1973. Gerald Ford managed this responsibility from 1873 to 1874. Nelson Rockefeller served from 1874 to 1877. Walter Mondale took the charge from 1977 to 1981. George H. W. Bush served from 1981 to 1989, later become president. Dan Quayle managed its responsibilities from 1989 to 1993. Al Gore served from 1993 to 2001 as a vice president. Dick Cheney served from 2001 to 2009. The current President Joe Biden also survived from 2009 to 2017. Mike Pence become in 2017 and leave the office in 2021. Kamala Harris became the 49th American vice president and still are in office. Thanks for joining till end. If the video is informative, then subscribe our channel.